Good evening, all. Welcome to the lecture on green chemistry, atom economy, and relevant case study, which is presenting in International FDP on environment and sustainability. Friends, green chemistry is very essential part of practices in chemistry. It deals with environmentally benign practices, less production of hazardous chemical, and environmentally benign practices to be used. If you're supposed to define green chemistry is a use of chemistry for prevention by design proper processes that reduce the generation of pollution of hazardous byproduct. There are total 12 goals in the green chemistry which to be achieved, and then and only then it is called as green chemistry practices. The first goal can be described as to develop process based on renewable feedstocks, in which the renewable starting materials are being used in order to prepare your products. The second goal supposed to be to minimize byproduct, that means by higher percent atom economy. This atom economy term is very essential when you talk about green chemistry, that we can see in the later part of this presentation. Third goal is to develop a relation involving less toxic materials. The fourth can be described as to develop process which is hazard free. Next, to use environment friendly solvents and extractants rather than organic solvents. The further we can describe green chemistry as to improve energy efficiency by developing low temperature, low pressure processes using improved catalysis. And lastly, to develop reliable methods to monitor and control processes. These are the main goals of green chemistry. When you talk about green chemistry, if any practice fulfills all these goals, then and only then it is called as green chemistry practice. Next, we are going to talk about atom economy. It is very important concept in green chemistry. It involves the amount of starting material which are used in the reaction should 100% get converted into product. Mainly addition reactions are such type of reactions where atom economy is 100%. If you're supposed to define atom economy, it can be defined something like this. It is the conversion of chemical processes in terms of all atom involved and the desired product produced. Its derivation is atom economy is equal to molecular weight of desired product divided by molecular weight of all products into 100. It also can be stated like this: atom economy is equal to molecular weight of desired product divided by molecular weight of all reactant into 100. Basically, it tells you that whatever amount of starting material that you are going to pour into the synthesis, that should result 100% into the product. So it is always desirable to have high atom economy, and possibly it is 100%. Now I would like to explain this term in terms of giving some examples. As I said, addition reactions gives 100% atom economy. Here you can see ethylene molecule in presence of silver catalyst gets converted into ethylene oxide. Now if you see here, molecular weight of ethylene is 28. Here half of oxygen molecule is being used. Its molecular weight is 16, and further it gets converted into ethylene oxide whose molecular weight is 44. Now here you can see 2 carbons, 4 hydrogens of ethylene reacts with 1 oxygen atom and will get converted into ethylene oxide, that is C2H4O6. That means whatever number of oxygen, whatever number of hydrogen, whatever number of carbons that we used as a starting material, it got converted 100% into the ethylene oxide, and that's why its atom economy is 100%. Now the second in the second example, acetylene, when it reacts with hydrogen bromide, it will give you ethyl bromide. Now here in this case, 2 carbons, 2 hydrogens of acetylene, 1 hydrogen, 1 bromine of hydrogen bromide reacts together to give you ethylene bromide, that is C2H3Br. Its atom economy is also 100%, and that's why these addition reactions are called as most atom economy efficient reactions. Now next we'll see a case study where this indigo dye has been synthesized by green route. Traditionally it is being synthesized in this way, where aniline is being used, which is very hazardous and carcinogenic as well. This aniline, when reacts with chloroacetic acid, will convert into a acid which further reacts with soda amide, and further oxidation will give you indigo dye. It contains lot of disadvantages, such as involvement of aniline, which is carcinogenic and hazardous starting material, and it involves more steps as well in this synthesis. Could we find out the more greener way to synthesize indigo dye? Yes, it is. So here it is green route to this indigo dye, where L-tryptophan, which is a natural material, can be extracted from plant. It is one of the amino acids. When reacts with tryptophanase enzyme, will give you indole. When this indole is subjected to naphthalene hydrogenase enzyme, will give you dihydroxyindole, and this dihydroxyindole, when upon oxidation by air, will give you indigo dye. Now here in this case, in this synthesis, we used enzymes as catalyst, and that's why, and when we talk about enzymes, those are eco-friendly, environmentally benign catalyst, which does not produce any harmful byproducts. So what are the advantages of green this indigo dye, green pathway of indigo dye? All the starting materials are plant origin and renewable as well. Here in this case, eco-friendly microorganisms are being used in the synthesis process. No waste material is being produced, and here in this case, less number of synthetic steps are involved, and that's why there is less amount of less amount of hazardous waste are being formed, less amount of man hours are being involved, no such hazardous solvent material, not much amount of hazardous solvents are being used, and that's why it is green route of synthesis of indigo dye. In conclusion, green chemistry offers improved resources efficiency and lower material and utility bills. It offers improved health and safety. The less amount of raw material and less natural resources are being used in the green chemistry. Here in this case, lower levels of chemicals are being released into the environment. That's why these are the environmentally benign practices. Green chemistry involves cleaner production of technologies and also reduced emissions and product impacts. So overall, everyone should practice green practices in order to save our Mother Earth and to support environment and sustainability. These are the references for further study. Thank you very much.